Alright, good morning everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher and I run Thraben University. Usually on this channel we are streaming with Legacy, Death, and Taxes. But this morning I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different. I don't really have a ton of time today. Got, a couple hours maybe, so I don't have enough time to play in the Legacy Challenge this morning. So I thought just for something different I'd go and play some Legacy Cube. And I could just sit here and do this on my own, but I find it useful to kind of talk through my picks anyway. And so I figured for those of you that actually like cube content, might as well give you a little bit something, especially for the YouTube folks who are looking for things to watch over their lunch hours. I know cube videos are kind of nice because they tend to be short. So let's do it. Let's play some cube. I have not actually played in this cube yet. I tend to be okay at legacy cubes or vintage cubes, but otherwise I play almost no limited, and I actually consider myself, relatively speaking, a poor limited player. It's mostly because I don't get the practice that I need at any one given format, and I'm the sort of player who gets very good with reps and learning and knowing all the decision trees and things to play around. So this is just for giggles. I did very poorly at the last cube I played on Magic Online. I did not break even, which was rough. So basically can only go up from here. In the past in Legacy Cube, I've tended to favor Reanimator because I feel like it's one of the most broken decks. And I also tend to like Mono Green Ramp. But I've played a little bit of everything. What is this? Oh, it's kind of neat. So looking at this pack, I don't think there's very many build around me cards that are sort of super powerful, must play cards. So just kind of generally scanning over the things that I think are pickable. I think Misty Rainforest is a good stay open card. I think Remand's acceptable. And other than that, the only card I'm excited about is Emrakul. If you get an enabler for this, say Sneak Attack, it can be very, very powerful. But this is a pick that I'm going to take and maybe not necessarily even play. But the upside of taking this card is pretty huge if I can get enablers. And this is another pack where I don't really see a great direction to go. There's some solid value cards, Necrotol's fine, Thirster Knowledge is fine. Terastodon's a very powerful card in, the green ramp decks. And a fine reanimation target. But this sort of card's pretty replaceable. So I think I'm just going to take a Thirst for Knowledge. Blue tends to be one of the better cards, one of the better colors to be in cubes a lot of times, just because you get the filtering and the card advantage. So Hey Sam, welcome. In this pack, I like compulsive research. Oh, the last card's cut off. Oh, sorry about that. In this pack, I like compulsive research and Whip of Erebos as cards to take. I'm going to go ahead and take the compulsive research here. All right, let me see what this preview is looking like. All right, can I change this into 2 rows? No, that is... All right, I will figure out how to do this, chat. Bear with me. This is like one of the first times I've drafted cube on stream. So the card off to the right that's cut off just a tiny bit is a Daze. So in this pack we have a couple of just generic blue value cards in Venser and Dismiss. I tend to like the flexibility of Venser a little bit better. So it looks like we're going to play blue something this draft. Dragonlord Ojutai is a pretty good finisher. It like kind of like pseudo cantrips, and it's pretty hard to kill. I'm happy taking that card. And if I operate under the assumption that we are going to go into blue-white, Snapcaster Mage is pretty great. Here I don't really see any card that I think I'm likely to play. Like, Entreat's just like way too clunky to try to set up in Limited. There is a world where I go into like a blue-black Reanimator deck backdoor, and I think that's better than taking the random Dragonlord Dramoka. I'm going to take that in Burial Rites and plan on just putting that right in the sideboard. Hey, Halclan, welcome. Whirler Rogue has impressed me as a card. It doesn't really look like it should be that good, but just like creating 3 bodies at 4 mana is nice. The Emrakul Drain might be dead. Electrolyze is a great card if I end up going into red. Thassa's kind of medium. Like, I might play it, but I wouldn't be happy to. So I'm going to take Electrolyze on the off chance that I go in that direction. Not super happy with how this first pack is turning out. Like, when you have a good blue deck, a lot of times, like, the start of it is, like, having a bunch of, like, cantrips, counterspells, things that interact a little bit earlier on the curve, and I kind of have, like, a bunch of mid-rangey blue stuff. This isn't necessarily bad, but I'm not thrilled. Maybe we're blue-red. Like, I got a lot of red removal very late there. Okay, so what does this look like on your end? How much of this is cut off? Okay, so there is a Monastery Swift Spear that is cut off. What can I do about that? So since I'm a little unsure about what colors I'm in exactly, I'm just going to take Glen Elandra because it's a very powerful effect. I mean, if my opponent plays a bunch of elves, I feel like I have, like, some number of sweepers to help deal with that right now. Am I just going to be a 3-color control deck? So Claire Bay, Brainstorm's not actually all that good in Limited. Like, the power of Brainstorm in Legacy is largely due to fetch lands. And without fetch lands or other shuffle effects, Brainstorm's actually not a very good cantrip. Yeah, I think I'm going to be a super awkward tap-out control deck. That's in too many colors. Goblin Dark Dwellers is like a second Snapcaster Mage, which I really like. And this is just like too big for me to use as a finisher. I'm also pretty unlikely to really want to play very many of these other cards. But I wish I was getting an indication of like what color I should be in for sure. Because I'm not super feeling that yet. Alright. This Windswept Heath can fetch me 2 of my 3 colors right now. And I'm probably going to go for fixing relatively aggressively, given this mess that I'm in. Like, the Mana Confluence is on the surface a better land, but I really don't want to have that in my opener. I'm going to take the fetch. It'll also make any cantrips that I get better. I don't know that I'm going to have enough creatures for Chart a Course. Cyclonic Rift isn't bad, but I think my plan is not to bounce stuff, but it's to just kill stuff. So I'm going to take Cloudscape, because if I'm going to bounce stuff, I at least want it to be attached to a body. Sower and Impulse are close picks, I think. I think I want Impulse just to have another earlier card. I have a lot of 4s already, but very few early interactive cards. And since I have both Dark Dwellers and Snapcaster Mages, the more instants and sorceries I can get, the better. And Yeheni, if this is a good archetype, I'm very happy to hear that. If I had some Planeswalkers, I would love, love, love Time Warp. But I don't. So I think I'm going to take one of these 2 early interactive spells. And I think I'm going to take Is It Charm. continuing the spells matter theme. Young Pyromancer's probably okay. It's awkward since I have 3 sweepers, though. But I still probably do it. I wonder if I'm going to end up being, like, forced out of my white. And if I'm just going to play blue-red. Not really excited about any of these. Eh. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if I'm just going to be a blue-red deck. What does this do? Alright, let's start to operate under the assumption that I'm actually going to be a blue-red deck instead. Because I think my picks are going in that direction. The red cards have been coming back very late, so I think I'm kind of likely to wheel something like this. So JVP is just like a good value card. I'm fine with playing this. Otherwise, I think Coalition Relic's really good. But my top end is just going to stop here. I don't think I need that. I'm super happy playing this card in Legacy, so I imagine it's just super sweet in Cube. So you remember that thing I said about my curve stopping at 5? Might have been a liar. This card's insane. I don't think it's a particularly good fit in my deck. But I've just won most of the games where I've resolved that card. Yeah, Joxmar, like, I played this card when it was, like, standard legal, and it was stupid. And I played it in Cube, and it was stupid. I've just been, like, all around very impressed with this card. So Kikijiki's a sweet card, but it's probably a little late to be going and, like, trying to backdoor into the combo. I think that it's between Ponder and Pillar of Flame here. And there's a lot of red removal floating around in the packs, and I think a lot of it's going to wheel. So I'm very inclined to just take Ponder. Oh, this pack's great. So we have a Jace, we have some fixing, and we have a sleight of hand. I would be happy with any of those cards. What do I need the most? So I currently have 0 fixing. Well, my mana's probably okay. I am sitting at enough playables. I have 4 cards for the instants and sorceries matter. Fill my graveyard type plan. I think the most powerful card here is Jace, but I almost wonder if I'm supposed to take the sleight of hand. I'm going to do that. I don't know if that pick's right, but it feels right. So this is a pinger that untaps for red spells, right? I don't see myself flipping that. Man, if I had opted to stay a control deck rather than getting slightly more aggressive, some of these last couple of picks would have been so rewarding. Is Augur going to be good? I'm not a stroke deck. I'd rather have the Manic Vandal for the sideboard, I think. So we're going to be a glorified burn deck with a little bit of a fatter top end than I probably would like. But that's probably fine. It's a great sideboard card, but triple blue is ambitious to say the least. Nope. Nope. I know there's a way to just like move all the instants and sorceries down here. Is it filters? Nope. Oh well. You can tell how much I queue. Alright, so I think I'm looking to be some sort of blue-red tempo-ish deck. Sort of almost, not quite a burn deck, but kind of something of that general ilk. What does this one do? Don't think I want that. Mizium Mortars can't go to the face, so that one probably goes to the sideboard. So I need to make about 4 cuts. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 instants and sorceries. I'm not sure how many I need to play before the Bedlam Reveler is good. I think this is probably the sort of card that I bring in for when I have control matchups where the games are going to go longer, but I don't necessarily want to start with in game 1. Maybe I'm only supposed to play one of these draw spells, so which one of these is better? Probably compulsive. Can't actually discard an artifact to make Thirst insane. 2 more. 5 4-drop seems like a lot. I should probably trim on one of those. Whirler Rogue and like Hellrider and P&K all go good together, and like the Hellrider is really good with my Young Pyromancer, so I don't want to cut that. I guess it should either be Venser or Glenalandra. Glenalandra has evasion, so maybe I'll play Venser in the board for my slower matchups. And I still have to make 1 cut. I wonder if JVP is too slow for what I'm doing in game 1. I think I'm going to have like really good sideboard options. Like Bedlam Reveler. Like these 3 cards for my control matchups. Mizium Mortar and Slagstorm for creature-based matchups. Manic Vandal for when my opponent has artifacts and enchantments. Alright, feel pretty good about this. Alright, I'm game for this, and I'm going to take a snip of my deck, because it's just always a good idea to have that handy when you're going and playing Cube. So I don't know what our little friend, the Riftwing Cloudscape, is going to be bouncing. But it's probably going to be good if my opponent just like flops down something annoying like a Phyrexian Arena. We don't really want to bounce that. But Pillar of Flame Exiles, right? And this... Yep. How convenient. No value for you, opponent. Then I'll get to Impulse at end of turn, and then tap out for P&K and see what happens. Alright, that's big. My hand is going to get very aggressive. I'm going to get to bounce this for awesome value. I technically should have played an island there in case my opponent has some weird card like Hymn to Turok. So I could play an attack with the Goblin Guide to just do 1 damage, but then I just throw that away to the Necrotol. So I don't love that. I probably just have lethal next turn. My opponent just plays the Desecration Demon again. I play Thundermaw, it taps that down, and then I shove with everything. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the Hellrider trigger alone, putting my opponent to 3, and then there's just way too many bodies. Alright, I don't really care about that. So my opponent probably has a removal spell. So I expect my Hellrider's gonna die. But if my opponent kills the Hellrider, I still just have lethal in the air. Hey, I did it. Alright, so I'm playing against a mono-black control deck. My opponent probably has some number of like devotion-based critters too. So what do I want to do keeping that in mind? Spencer's probably going to be okay at just like bouncing blockers out of the way. I might not sideboard much more than that. Like the JVP would be good if it flips, just to kind of grind value, but since it's a creature, that's not really my best avenue of attack there. So I'll probably just cut 1 random burn spell, play the Venser, and call that good enough. Probably my Rip Bolt. It's awkward. This is a fine starting hand. Depending on the contents of my opponent's hand, if they can just deal with a creature, they might just snag my Young Pyromancer. Or, sorry, if they can't deal with the creature, they'll take Young Pyromancer. If they can, they'll probably just take my Impulse. Alright, so their hand might be removal light. Oh, that's bad. That's very bad. That's essentially just a 5/5 unblockable. I'm going to need to, like, Venser that back to my opponent's hand. I don't really want to trade with that. We'll do it next turn if I have to, but I'm kind of hoping to just draw, like, Pillar of Flame. Oh, God. Well, that was a pretty good curve. I'm just dead to that. Hmm. So Obliterator and Erebos are going to be problem cards. I can bounce them with Cloudscape or Venser. Otherwise, that's bad. A lot of my red removal is seeming pretty medium. But I don't think I have the fixing to just, like, dip into white for Condemn, Day of Judgment, and Verdict. So we'll run it back and try to get aggressive and go under them. So it's not exactly my plan, but if my opponent starts out with some non-creature stuff or some creatures that Izzet Charm can actually mess with, this is pretty good. How aggressive am I willing to be? I can just Snapcaster Searing Spear. And push one more point of damage. But I think I'd rather leave up Snapcaster Izzet Charm this turn. So that on my next turn I can Goblin Dark Dweller's Searing Spear. Yeah, I'm gonna save my pushing this damage probably matters a lot. And then I can just, like, Goblin Dark Dwellers and use the Izzet Charm loot mode to loot away to get selection for my next card. Or actually, I can just loot with Is It Charm and loot away. No. Alright, I'm a little surprised that there's no removal spell here. Okay, there is. It just went at the Goblin Dark Dwellers instead. I see. Jeez. This Massacre Worm represents a very big clock if it's paired with a couple of removal spells. I'm just going to go ahead and take this hit because if my opponent doesn't have another removal spell, any Lightning Bolt is just lethal. Ooh, lifelink. This is bad. I think I'm going to fail to turn the corner here. So my opponent's going to go up to 10 life. And I'm probably just going to chump block with this. I can't just safely... Alright, so this says, whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. So with another removal spell, if I don't block, I am just going to be dead. And this is not getting through that zombie token currently. So we'll just jump here. Well, my opponent's just gonna like lifelink, gain a bunch back. It's 3 to sacrifice with this, and I only have 6. So my opponent can sacrifice this zombie. Ugh. Didn't quite turn the corner there. My opponent's black creatures lined up pretty well against my red removal. Like with one of them being undying, one of them being indestructible, one of them making me sacrifice stuff, one having 4 toughness. I think that was just going to be hard. I'll keep this. This hand has the potential to be pretty aggressive. I get to open on Swift Spear, like get some damage with that, suspend the Cloudskate, then hopefully like draw a land to like curve out, electrolyze something into Whirler Rogue. Alright, so my opponent is going to play some sort of white weenie deck in all likelihood. So Electrolyze is probably going to be great. I'm going to do what looks like offering a trade, but my opponent probably doesn't block because if I have anything, then they get blown out. So I think that attack's free. I imagine I'll probably get a 2-for-1 when I cast this Electrolyze. I would love to draw an island so that next turn I can play Whirler Rogue into Hellrider the following turn and do a buttload of damage. I probably shouldn't have played that. Not punished for it, but clearly a mistake. I'm fine with that. Like, my plays are all 4 mana next turn anyway, so that's not that big of a deal for me. Now my Riftwing Cloudscape is going to come off, and I can bounce this Serendipifreet. Okay, so how much damage can I do this turn? I should probably just play Whirler Rogue and Monastery Swiftspear this turn, and then play Hellrider the following turn, or maybe even 2 turns later and plan on crashing in for a ton of damage. I could also just like Snapcast or Electrolyze at some point, which will be very good. But I'd like to try and get a 2-for-1 out of that. Actually, I could just Hellrider this turn, effectively attack for 7, put my opponent to 7. And what would I do about this Serendipifreet that's coming down? I would just play Consecrated Sphinx and go bigger than them? Okay. A Hero of Bladehold. Well, that's pretty good. So right now, how much guaranteed damage do I have? I have 3 guaranteed damage from the Hellrider trigger, 5 guaranteed damage, so I can just go and kill my opponent with Snapcast or Electrolyze to their face. Alright, so against a White Weenie or White Weenie-ish deck, I think Slagstorm and Mizium Mortars are both going to be pretty good. I'll consider playing Fight with Fire, just because it's something that can kill that Hero of Bladehold, or the Ifrit. Let's see what I want to take out. On the draw, I'm probably not about this Falconwrath Gorger. The Glenalandra's probably medium. Maybe I'm not supposed to play this Fight with Fire. Maybe I'm just supposed to rely, when I'm on the draw, I'm supposed to rely on like my larger creatures to finish things off, but the Swift Spear can still probably trade with some of their smaller stuff. Maybe I'll just trim one of these. How many islands do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an 8th blue source. So I think I essentially have like 2 draws to hit a blue source for this hand to still be very good. That's probably fine. Like I still have an early piece of interaction against like the first creature regardless. And if I play this sleight of hand a bit earlier, or sorry, a bit later, that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, so this is pretty good for me. This Rift Bolt sort of incentivizes my opponent to play out a different creature rather than level up the Student of Warfare. So I'll get to kill 1 with this Rift Bolt, and then probably the 2nd with the Incendiary Flow. Pay 4 life, it gets indestructible until the end of turn. That's some crap. I guess it turns any one of my burn spells into like a 4 damage spell. So let's deal 4 damage with this. Really hoping to draw an island to like electrolyze this and nug them. And maybe turn my electrolyze into a 5 damage cantripping spell. That sounds sweet. But that's not happening. Hey Colin, welcome. That spear's pretty good. And any land is a good draw here. Any land will also be a good draw next turn. That's creating 3/3 knights. That's a problem. Alright, so next turn I'm getting hit for 7. Right, this is +2, yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is vigilant. Can I race? So if I attack my opponent with both of these things, they take 2, go down to 10, then they go down to 5 with Thunderwall Hellkite if my opponent accepts this block. Let's turn stuff sideways. Morning, King. Fortnite is not the sort of game that I enjoy. I can see why people like it, but not for me. I'm just not a fan of first-person shooters and anything of that general nature. King, it's been kind of a nail-biter here. I changed archetypes mid-draft, so I think I kind of ended up with a very medium draft deck. I'm happy with it. Like, I thought I was going to be a blue-white-red control deck. And I ended up being a blue-red tempo deck. Whoops. I knew what you meant, King. So if my opponent has another Anthem effect, I will die. Hey, I did it. We're 1-1. So King, since you weren't here for the draft, here's what we're taking a look at. So like you can see this like Day of Judgment, Supreme Verdict, Dragon Lord Ojutai type stuff here. These were pretty early on in pack 1. I thought it was going to be like a blue-white control deck at first, and then white kind of dried up, and I didn't get the early interaction there, and I started picking up all these cards like Mizium Mortars and Slagstorm. So I started going like blue-white-red control, and then I realized that all the like Goblin Guide, Monastery Swiftspear type stuff was wheeling, so I got way more aggressive. So I'm sort of a blue-red tempo deck with some pretty heavy hitters in the 4 and 5 mana cost range. So my preferred archetypes in Cube are Reanimator and Mono Green Ramp most of the time. I just feel like those strategies in Legacy Cube, I feel like those strategies end up doing the most broken things, and I try to do broken things in Cube when I can. Like if I get an early Splinter Twin, like I'm forcing the ever-loving crap out of that. I used to almost exclusively play Control in Cube, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily like the best way to actually be winning your Cube games. Oh, nice! Congrats! Like it's such a good feeling to go and like get together a legacy deck. All right, how many hits do I have for lands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 hits for a red source, which would make this opponent very good. Or sorry, make this hand very good. I probably need that red source in about 2 draws to have a competitive hand. So it's about a third on the first one, a little more after that. I'll keep. I think since suspending Ancestral on turn 1 is that's a decent cube play. All right, that's a fine draw. Ooh, Wasteland. All right, so like we have a play. That's nice. Less nice is my opponent's Ancestral, which will come down before I can counter it with this. And if my opponent's doing something unfair like Reanimator, that is not good for me. Because they'll just have an opening to just discard something here and reanimate it on the next turn. It's possible that this is just like a value looter, not an enabler looter. We'll see. Oh boy, my opponent's discarding counter spells. That can't be good for me. I'm just going to get this looter off the table before it does more sort of effective damage to me. I wonder if my opponent is just like actual factual mono blue control. If that is the case, I should take this opportunity. Oh wait, hold on. I can just get rid of their Glen Elandra here. That's probably more important than resolving my own Glen Elandra. Yeah, agreed, Max. You probably came to that conclusion right about the same time I did. Yeah, that feels like a real good play, Max. Like, unfortunately, like my opponent gets to draw 3 here, and I'm stumbling on mana a little bit. We'll see how good my opponent actually is at answering creatures that stick to the board. I might be able to ride this Snapcaster for like a surprising amount of damage. I really hope my opponent plays something that I can bounce with my Cloudskate. Because otherwise, I guess I just bounce my Snapcaster Mage and go for long-term value. makes sense. So this is going to steal my Snapcaster. I don't know that I actually care. Because at any time, I can just, like, Searing Spear or Rift Bolt that thing and get it out. Oh no, if I play my Glenorlandra, that's super bad. My opponent just takes that and then counters. No, no, no. Alright, I guess we do care. Oh god. Let's try to find a red source. Oh god. That's... I think I just want to resolve this now. Like, I can Hellrider and pressure the Tamiyo a lot. But I can do that next turn as well. I'm just kind of terrified of my opponent slamming something like a Worm Coil Engine and clogging up the board with Tamiyo hiding behind it. That falls into the category of something like Worm Coil Engine that I'm terrified of. Okay. Well, this almost matters. My opponent's deck is sweet. Yes. Dueling Consecrated Sphinx means you stop drawing when you would like to stop drawing. I can't counter that, right? Because on the stack, this is a creature. And in play, it's also a creature currently. Holy crap. It's also protection from red. Well, I feel like I've lost. Yeah, NBM, this is pretty disgusting here. I don't even think I want to, like, show my opponent my own Consecrated Sphinx, because, like, the rest of this is just going to kill me anyway. And, like, this making stuff unblockable. Yeah, we're donezo. Okay, So Fairy seems great. Hard to cast, but great. Bedlam Reveler seems fine. Jace seems fine. Fencer seems good. So we got a few value-oriented cards to think about. I might consider the Mizium Mortars to clear out the tokens from what's his face, Master of Waves, but I don't know that we'll go that deep. Riftbolt seems like it's going to be awkward. Incendiary Charm or Flow doesn't go to the face, right? No, that does go to the face. Is there one of these that doesn't? No. Hmm. I want to keep these 1-drops to try to go under my opponent. Even though this is really good against Glenalandra, it doesn't kill some of the other creatures, especially the Old Man of the Sea that I saw. So maybe I trim that. Then I'm not sure what else. Maybe I do still trim that, and maybe Sleight of Hand doesn't quite do enough. Let's try that. Like, the other 2 red creatures at least have haste. I don't think this hand does anything. This hand's very bad as well. But I don't think I can go down another card. I think I just have to hope that I hit my second land drop so that I can play Young Pyromancer into my Cloudscape and hopefully just continue to rip lands. That's kind of scary. That means my opponent has something that they're actually going to want to protect. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Man, now my opponent gets to take my Young Pyromancer, and I probably just lose this game. Yeah, I feel bad. Dead. Alright, let's try that again. Oh, that was quick. Okay. How is this sized? Probably fine. Okay, let's look at this pack. I'm not overly excited about anything that's here. I really like Dragon Lord Atarka as a finisher for the ramp decks. Guess I could first pick that. Like, I think it's either just take a Tarn and stay safe, or take Dragon Lord Atarka. I think I'm gonna take the Atarka. Let's see if we can get into green. I mean, I do really like Acidic Slime if we want to go green. This is another not particularly exciting pack. Like, Acidic Slime is good. Kalatos is okay. Fire Confluence is crazy. So I think it's between, like, this, with this one being, like, far and away worse. I'm gonna take the Slime. So, there's one card in this pack that's way more powerful than every other card in the pack, and it is Recurring Nightmare. This card's really stupid, and if I get this early enough, I can actually build around this card. So I think, given what I've started with, Overgrown Battlement is on theme with these, and is also a creature for things like Gaia's Cradle. But Recurring Nightmare might be powerful enough that I should just, like, force this card and go into some sort of 2 to 3 color value-oriented ETB deck, which is what I'm going to do. Yes, Recurring Nightmare is also super fun and cool, which makes me want to play it. Kind of an unexciting pack in every way. What's this? Whenever a land... Oh, that's neat. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. That's expensive, but kind of cool. I'll probably just take Thrun here. Like, blue-green ramp's good, but I don't know that I'm going in that direction yet. And I don't think there's anything else here powerful enough to make me want to abandon my current plan, other than maybe Deceiver Exarch. I love me some Mimic Vat. I think this card's insane. But I think people underestimate it, so it might wheel. So Yavimaya Elder fits into the ramp plan or the recurring nightmare plan. So I think that's going to be my pick. Oh, sweet. This card's in the cube? I love Brightling. Alright. I'm not, like, very excited about this card, but it's probably good enough. Like, I don't really want to be playing anything else that's in this pack, other than Unburial Rites if I kind of want to go deep on the recurring nightmare thing. Ooh. Despite the fact that little friend here has no art, Garruk's really good. Now I have to pick between Explore and Wood Elves. I think I'm going to go hard on this ETB theme for Recurring Nightmare. Den Protector is a fine pickup. I think that card's pretty slow, but it is powerful. Very happy to see a green-black land. I think this pick is going to be close between taking the Freebooter and taking the Savannah just to, like, hedge for potential fixing later. I'm going to take the Freebooter. I'm unlikely to play any of these. I'll take the Planeswalker. Yeah, I mean, I play Freebooter in Legacy decks, so, like, I'm obviously aware of how powerful the card is. It's just sort of, like, awkward with Recurring Nightmare. Unfortunately, this is the new templating, so I can't go and, like, sack this with the trigger on the stack to exile a card forever. Ha ha ha! Hello, friend. So now we have Mimic Vat and Recurring Nightmare as these ways to reuse all of these. No respect for the Brightling. This card's so good. I don't think we're going to be a Greater Gargadon deck. This is a great pack. We are most certainly wheeling something from this pack. So we have Blooming Marsh, Rager, Elder, Ophiomancer, Polluted Delta as cards that I would all be happy to get. I think I want Rager. The Woodland Cemetery wheeled last time, so the Blooming Marsh is likely to. Rager and Ophiomancer are both really good with Mimic Vat and Recurring Nightmare. I think people underestimate this card, so I think this is another one that's likely to come back. So I think I can either get Ophiomancer or Blooming Marsh on the wheel. I don't think I'd get Rager, though. Like, this card's obviously pretty good. So, cards I'd consider here are Lotus Cobra, Cultivate, and Solemn. Kakusha is also fine. It's super cute with, like, Recurring Nightmare and Mimic Vat. This card always wheels, though. No one takes this card ever. What does this card do? It's kind of neat. But I think this is an easy Solemn, just, like, disgusting with Mimic Vat and Recurring Nightmare. Am I a Green Sun deck? The answer is probably yes. This gives me a second copy of Acidic Slime and Dragon Lord Atarka. Emrakul the Promised End also would not be unreasonable. I'm sort of lacking early ramp right now, unfortunately, which makes this a little bit less appealing. So currently, this can be 4 mana ramp in multiple ways. It can be a 5 mana Thrun, 6 mana Acidic. This card's not great currently, but I think it has the potential to be great. Oh man, that is a giant old raid. Hello everyone who's coming here. My name is Phil Gallagher, I run Thraben University, and though we're usually a legacy channel, today we are just streaming some Cube. We're on the second Cube draft of the day, and it looks like we're going and being pretty close to mono green, likely using Mimic Vat and Recurring Nightmare to reuse all of our enter the battlefield triggers. So here we have a choice between Vivian Reed and the Ravenous Chupacabra. Thanks, Jim. Take care. Again, because of this like Mimic Vat Recurring Nightmare value, I really just want ETB creatures that do things as much as I can. So let's get the Chupacabra. Tarmogoyf is not nearly as good in Cube as it is in Legacy because it's harder to get multiple types into your graveyard quickly. I don't know that I'm going to ramp so big that I actually need Gilded Lotus. So Gifted Aetherborn on black might be tough to cast. Vraska's Contempt is probably pretty good. And this is Garruk Apex Predator, which is very good, but very difficult to cast. I'm currently lacking in any sort of early game ramp, so I don't think this is actually good enough. So I'm going to take this. I might not even start this, but I think it's a fine pickup. This pack's unexciting for us. Like, Dragonlord Silumgar is very good. I don't know that I'd splash for it right now, but it's fine. Blackcleave Cliffs could be a red source for Dragonlord Atarka, and kind of like make it free to play this. Cord seems really slow, so I'm not inclined to take this. Again, I'm lacking Mana Elves. I'm going to take some fixing. Yeah, I don't think we would be getting any of the blue-black duels from earlier in this pack back, or the fetches, so I don't think that's actually going to be good. So this is technically ramp, but I think I'm going to take this Misty over the Fertile Ground. I really want everything I'm doing to be attached to creatures whenever possible. Hey, speaking of things that are attached to creatures, deal. This is tough. I can take the fixing, or I can take a very powerful effect. This is a very good Green Sun target. I don't think I'm going to be anywhere close to short on playables, so I think making my mana better is more important than giving myself access to the Wickerbow Elder. Alright, well, never mind what I said about that whole not getting back those blue-black duels. Maybe I could have taken Silumgar. not super thrilled about any of this. When in doubt, I pick fixing. Yeah, I'm so surprised that Watery Grave came back as well. Like, Sword Equip, like, that doesn't seem correct to me. I don't think I'm a Bob deck. I don't think I'm a Bob deck. I might be an Entomb deck. Yeah, Bob is probably unreasonable. Yeah, I wouldn't play something like Buried Alive, but Entomb to really turn on the Recurring Nightmare is not unreasonable. Oh, hello. This pack's good. So we have Karn, Push, Search for Tomorrow, a Sword, Jace. This pack's pretty great. I'm missing another really good piece of top end, and though I'd prefer it to be a creature, I basically try not to pass this card. It's so powerful at what it does. What does this one do? I've never read this one. It's not bad. So, Sundering Titan, Coalition Relic, and Animate Dead are all pretty good here. I'm not going to take this Animate Dead, but this Animate Dead is probably going to wheel, and so I'm going to keep that in mind with my later picks. I think it's between Coalition Relic and Sundering Titan. I'm very much hurting for ramp right now, and I feel like I'm going to have a lot to do with my mana, so I actually think I'm supposed to take the Coalition Relic over the Sundering Titan, just because I'm kind of lacking on the ability to go and power it out. I'm not exactly a ramp deck. Right now I'm more sort of a, like, mid-range value deck, and this Sundering Titan blowing up 2 of my lands is actually pretty detrimental to me right now, I think. This is a great pack. So we've got a Verdant, an Obstinate Baloth, a Mediocre Nissa, and a Massacre Worm, as well as an Ultimate Price. Again, I think I am on this mid-range plan with Mimic Bat and Recurring Nightmare. I'm unsure whether Obstinate Baloth or Massacre Worm is better here. I think Massacre Worm is more likely to come back. So I think I should take the Baloth. But it's probably pretty close. I'm going to take the Baloth. Ooh, man. What a pack. Gearhulk, Olamog, Fauna Shaman, Hissing Quagmire, Mere Battlesphere, and Eternal Witness are all cards that would make my deck. I'm leaning towards taking the Gearhulk here because it fills the slot of both a finisher and a removal spell, as well as being good with Recurring Nightmare and Mimic Bat. But I think it's a very close pick between the Gearhulk and the Eternal Witness. I think there's a possibility that the Fauna Shaman wheels. How many cards? There's 12 cards left in this pack, so what are the worst 4? Maybe like Looting, Parallax Wave's underrated, Hallowed Spirit Keeper's underrated. It's possible Fauna Shaman makes it back around. Okay. So Dragon Skull Summit would make my Dragon Lord Atarka super, super free. Bone Shredder's really good. Sword of Feast and Famine's really good. Polukranos is fine. Things are starting to come together in this last pack. I think it's Bone Shredder. So I think this Entomb is probably going to end up seeing play in the sideboard. This almost looks like you forgot to force mono white. I did forget. Didn't see that pack 1 pick 1 Thalia. Man, this pack's great too. We don't quite have the ideal birthing pod deck, so I don't think that's a consideration, but Gonti's pretty insane. Like, this, again, is another great enter the battlefield, do something, value creature. And I've been so impressed with this card in Cube. I've been on the wrong side of it a couple of times, and it was super frustrating to play against. What does this one do? That's not bad. I don't know that I'm going to play this, but I haven't been impressed with Profane Command. Actually, maybe I should just take Lava Claw Reaches. Not intending to activate it, but just as my second free red land. So I have a Misty and a Watery Grave. I don't know that I want to play Hypnotic Spectre, but there's a world where I might play the Scarab God. I think I'm going to take a ramp spell here, but him's really good. I have so little ramp and so much to do with my mana that like this is the disciplined pick, him is the greedy pick. There's that Animate dead. I'm going to have some choices to think about. Whoa! Good news, chat. The Fauna Shaman wheeled. Better news. How did this come back? How did this happen? Oh man, now the Dragon Lord is like super, super free. Sword Equip, thank you for the bits. I'm so surprised at that wheeling. That's insane. I think this deck is actually going to be good. Like, I have more than enough playables here. And almost everything is on theme. Gifted Etherborn probably becomes a sideboard card since it's hard to cast. Thrawn might be a sideboard card. So I don't have quite as much ramp as I would like. But I do have some. It's just like different, right? So I get like Wood Elves, Jade Light Rangers, Yavimaya Elder, Solemn Simulacrum, Coalition Relic, and Search. It's not the like mana dorks that I'd want, or the earlier ramp. I didn't get past very many of those. Like I think I had the option of like pick one, Elves of Deep Shadow, and I think I passed a Rampant Growth, and a Fertile Ground, but otherwise I just didn't see very much of that. But otherwise, this is looking good. So what? I need to cut one more card from this pile. It might be Freebooter, and I'm supposed to treat Freebooter as a sideboard card. Or the same might be true of the Den Protector, since it's slow. Since I somehow wield that Eternal Witness, I think the Den Protector loses some of the value that it otherwise had in my deck. It also could be this Vraska's Contempt. I have better options than that. Like, I have Ultimate Price that I could play over Vraska's Contempt, sorry. I don't necessarily know if I need the Ultimate Price, though. Like, I have Bone Shredder, Chupacabra, Acidic Slime, Shriek Maw, Noxious Gearhulk as removal already. So maybe I'm fine as far as main deck removal goes. How good's my mana? So I get Woodland Cemetery. Will I play... So I get Woodland Cemetery, Blooming Marsh for that. Then I get Blackcleave Cliffs, Dragon Soul Summit, and Lava Claw Reaches. My mana is actually pretty good. Maybe playing this early isn't all that insane. Yeah, so we got pick 2 Recurring Nightmare, which is why we're able to go and like pick so many value ETB creatures. So let's see what this looks like. So this would give me 9 black sources and 9 green sources, which is pretty good. How am I on symbols? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so one of these swamps should become one more forest. Oh, this is only 16 lands? So this is 11 sources of green, 8 sources of black. Whereas this is 11 sources versus 9 sources. That seems more balanced. All right, and always, as a habit, take a picture of your deck. Make sure that you save it. All right, so this is green, black, Recurring Nightmare. All right, chat, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, and then we're going to go into our 3 rounds and see how we do with this. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about the delay, chat. I'm back. Hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run a legacy website called Thraben University, and usually we stream legacy on this channel, usually control decks like Death and Taxes. Though today we're playing Legacy Cube. Our deck list is pretty sweet here. I'm pretty excited to be playing this green-black value-oriented deck. Let's see how we do. Alright, I have lands, I have spells, this is a keep. With one more land, I'll be able to play Coalition Relic and Yavimaya Elder, and I'll be off to the races. My Green Sun Zenith is not going to do anything early. Green Sun is a late game play in this deck, unfortunately. But that's fine. No, so our smallest card to fetch with this is a 3, unfortunately. So Green Sun is not an early play. I think my opponent should have attacked there. If I didn't remove the mom on my turn, I don't have a removal spell, so I think that is just like one free point of damage that they missed. So Yavimaya Elder couldn't block this turn, and I've still got land drops for a couple of turns down the pipe. So I think I'm just going to play Coalition Relic. It's technically correct to wait and charge this until my opponent's end step, but since I have this Mother of Runes, it's clear that I'm not using any removal. So with our Green Sun, Obstinate Baloth would be about the best thing that we could go and get right now. Long term, we're looking to use this Green Sun to get a Dragon Lord Atarka. That will be very good against what my opponent is doing. So this turn, I actually just think I want to go and set my opponent back. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Acidic Slime, blow up one of their lands, and then charge this back up. And hopefully this is keeping my opponent from deploying something sweet like a Hero of Bladehold. Ooh. That's scary. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana this turn. I think I want to make my land drops here. So let's play my Elder. I'll sack it now. One. So next turn is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next turn is Green Sun for Atarka. We just have to like hope that the Mirror Entity doesn't go and mess it up, because like Mirror Entity plus Mom is super annoying. Or we can just draw the Dragon Lord Atarka. That's fine too. I can also use this to kill Gideon. So I can go... I don't really need to do 2 to Gideon. Actually, I can go 1, 1, 1. Nah, I'm just going to wipe out the creatures. Like, Gideon is going to just die to board at some point soon. We'll make my opponent sort this out. My opponent could have used Mom to protect from one of those. So it appears that they have just given up on life. Yeah, this play is nuts, sort of quip. Coalition Relic is a really good Magic card. Oh, jeez. So I think this game is 1 100% locked up. I'm just trying to decide if I like care about this Gideon at all. I should probably just like swing Dragon Lord here, swing Acidic Slime here, get Acidic Slime back in my graveyard, and just like start blowing up my opponent's lands. Oh, neat. All right, your creatures can be indestructible for a turn. I accept this. Dragon Lord Atarka still gets to trample over for a bunch. This card's broken, chat. Did you know? Is this other or is this all of them? I can't tell. Oh, it must be all. So this can all go here. Could Recurring Nightmare one more time and Acidic Slime another land. But I probably just want to keep this as a blocker. Recurring Nightmare is my favorite card that's just insane in cube. That's probably too powerful for most cubes. A friend of mine has what we call like a modern cube. It's just sort of cube of an acceptable power level for modern. And I keep trying to push this card in here. I'm like, it'll be fine, right? And he's like, no, that card is not okay. So like, if my opponent wastelands me, I still get to recurring nightmare twice next turn. And I don't know how my opponent is supposed to like ever beat that. All right, so my opponent is playing sort of a red-white aggro deck, so I should just consider more removal spells that will let me make it to the point in the game where my sweet cards can take things over. So Ultimate Price is probably pretty good. Vraska's Contempt is probably okay. It's a little slow, but it's okay. And I'd even considered playing this Animate Dead just as another way to recur my value creatures, because a lot of them are going to end up on chump blocking duty. Kite Seal Freebooter is probably going to be medium. We'll board that out. And I should probably board out one of these random 3-drops here, maybe the Jade Light Ranger. Jade Light Ranger can be so good, though. But I feel like everything else is just better. Oh, I'd still need to cut one more. Maybe I don't animate dead. So this hand on the surface does nothing, but with one more land, I have Coalition Relic. And that card's very powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this on the strength of Coalition Relic. My best draws would just be like swamp into swamp. Mom's a great card. I do love me some other runes. This Wasteland is probably going to be pretty good. Mirror Entity's terrifying. My opponent didn't have the Mom, then the Shriek Maw could potentially like do some work. Did I have a Languish in my sideboard? No, I didn't end up picking that. Hmm. All right, so I can play this guy, make a wolf. I can play Gifted Aetherborn as a Death Toucher, but Mom kind of invalidates that. Garukin Fighting doesn't do anything. Shriekmaw doesn't really do anything. So I guess I can play Gifted Aetherborn plus Forest and go Gifted Aetherborn and a Wolf and kind of like just put a couple of different colors on the board. That might be my best bet. My other line was to play Garuk, try to fight something, and then evoke Shriekmaw. But I'm hoping that, like, I'll get to block with the Gifted Aetherborn on this turn, my opponent protects with Mom, and then I Shriekmaw while still having this alive, maybe? We'll see. Like, it really depends on how my opponent uses their mana. Playing the Gifted Aetherborn. This card will be problematic later. Alright, so the Vampire Token and the Skymarch Aspirant are both attacking Garruk. The Mirror Entity is attacking me. My opponent, now that this has flipped into a land, can turn these into 3/3s. Yeah, I guess to play around an opposing removal spell, I should have done it the other way, like Garruk Fight, then Shriekmaw Evoke, get rid of Mom. Yep, that was a mistake on my end. Alright. Live and learn. That's very good here. So now my opponent can just turn all of these into 4/4s, turn everything sideways, and I'll take 16 and die. Like, I can try to wiggle through this, but I don't think I'm getting there, and I'd rather not show my opponent any more cards. Stumbled a little bit there on my mana. But it would have been fine if my opponent didn't have Mom. So fingers crossed that my opponent does not have Mom for the third game in a row. Because Mom invalidates most of my removal. Like, I think I messed up a little bit that game. But I still don't know that I could have just beaten that Mirror Entity. That plus the white flip land is very strong together. Opponent either going to the bathroom or drastically changing something about their sideboard configuration. This hand's great. So I get to turn 1, suspend a search, turn 2, Shriekmaw, whatever card they play, even if it's Mother of Runes. And then, as this game goes very late, Green Sun will be quite powerful. I'm going to play out my basics first because my opponent has shown us Wasteland. Although if my opponent plays Thalia Heretic Cathar, they got me. Alright, well, that one dodges the removal. Mimic that. Hello. Do I want to just cast this for 3? If I cast it for 3, I can get an Eternal Witness, return Search for Tomorrow, or a Jade Light Ranger just to get something big that scries me towards something. But I think I just like holding this card for as long as possible. Let's get this Mimic Vat in play. Then next turn I have the potential of like Evoke Shriekmaw and Mimic Vat in whatever you play that I can kill. Otherwise, if I can kill this Scrap Heap Scrounger, I can just keep my opponent from returning it ever. That's an acceptable thing to put under a Mimic Bat. So is my Shriekmaw, though. So do I want to evoke my Shriekmaw? I can evoke my Shriekmaw and put Shriekmaw under it. I can hardcast my Shriekmaw, put Boros Reckoner under it. The world is my oyster. So, okay. I think I know how I want to do this. DNT24, thank you very much. 6 months in a row is a long time, and I really do appreciate your support. So now this Mimic Vat token essentially walls the Scrap Heap Scrounger. But if my opponent doesn't attack with it at the end step, I just make one, and then on my turn, I attack with it, push 3 damage, then post-combat, I can use it to Recurring Nightmare. Okay. Arena Rector's pretty sick. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So I'm up to Acidic Slime time. I don't really want to give my opponent a Gideon here. So we're probably just going to stare at each other for a little while. Am I okay with using Green Sun for Acidic Slime? I think so. Oh shit, can I just, like, vat this? Okay, so I attack. This happens. Active player's triggers goes on the stack, then non-active player's trigger goes on the stack. Non-active player's trigger resolves first, so no, I can't just vat this. No, it's a trigger. It's not a replacement effect. So this doesn't work. Now, on my opponent's turn, it's a different question. On my opponent's turn, I can vat it. I'm going to go ahead and go after their land rather than after their scrap heap scrounger there. All right, so now we just do the thing. So that's Shriekmaw. I'll sacrifice this. I don't want to do that yet. It's 2 mana become indestructible, 3 mana. So I could just kill this. But my opponent's way back in the game is probably this Arena Rector going off. This small Gideon doesn't matter very much, right? It can make some stuff attack. It can make something indestructible. I guess that's annoying. I guess I can take out this one this turn since my opponent can't make it indestructible. And then in following turns, I can just deal with these. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that under here for now. I think this is game 3. Wow. So I have 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 8 mana. So I can't do both. But this is probably pretty insane. And I'll put that one under the Mimic Bat. This card's so fun. So with this line, I get to destroy this, put this under the Mimic Bat. On my turn, I can make a token for 3, and then turn them both into 5/5s if I wanted. But I think I'm more likely to just want to like put this under the Mimic Bat. So that my slime can go back to the yard. Because I don't really see how I lose if I just like loop slime and Shriekmaw. Or actually, no, maybe I should leave slime under there. Then I can make a slime token, kill a Scrounger or a land, attack for 7, junk the token for a Shriekmaw. I don't need to watch my time. My opponent needs to watch their time. I have a feeling they're just like bad men are conceding and they're just going to like time themselves out. Which is super frustrating. Yeah, I mean, if I went and recurring nightmared with random targets and mimic back with random targets, it'd still be good enough. Okay, I respect this. My opponent has used Mirror Entity's ability to turn all of his creatures into 0/0s. So my opponent will actually go and get to Arena Rector here, and he does get a Planeswalker. So that's actually pretty cool. Alright, so this is Mirror Entity, don't care, don't care, don't care. This can only destroy a tapped artifact, right? Yeah, alright. Don't care about any of that then. And my opponent's done. So my opponent taking that break there was probably them looking up, like, all right, well, what exactly happens with this, like, Mimic Bat Academy Rector trigger if I do this? That's probably what they were looking up. So they were probably doing some reading. Mimic Vat can create some odd rulings if you're not used to playing with it. So I totally get that. So while we're waiting for the next match here, I do want to take a moment to thank my sponsors, Card Hoarder and Cardboard Live. Although it's not currently enabled for draft, Cardboard Live is this sweet extension that lets you go and view the deck lists on screen. It's sort of like a spiritual successor to something like Stream Decker. I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand. Some of my lands are a little bit awkward in that like a bunch of these are probably going to enter tapped, or I might have to like play the Dragon Skull Summit tapped on turn 1. But I have a very powerful hand as a whole, especially this Bone Shredder here. So let's just play this one tapped on turn 1. Looking at a turn 3 Bone Shredder kill something on the other side. Looks like my opponent is a ramp deck of some nature. My opponent plays some big fatty. My Bone Shredder will be very happy. Planeswalker is very bad for me here. Ugh. Tree Speaker is really good. I don't want to let that card live. It's essentially a Soul Ring. Unfortunately, like, transforming this is super bad for me. I think rather than play my own Planeswalker... Okay, so I could play my Garruk and fight his Wolf, and then flip mine. And then our Garruks kind of trade with each other. Like, he makes a token, I make a token, they trade for the rest of the game, so that kind of keeps us in check. I think that's better than playing the Solemn. The Solemn ramps me towards Dragonlord Atarka, which is the way that I win this game. But since I'm a few turns off from that, I think it's okay. I'm in trouble if my opponent has some big nasty bomb. It looks like that is not the case, luckily for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So next turn I can cast Dragonlord Atarka. Fuck. Okay. Now, in order to cast this Dragonlord Atarka, I have 2 lands remaining or my Coalition Relic. So I probably need to Chupacabra this Terastodon before it gets to attack me. but I can search for tomorrow for free before doing so. If I attack everything at Garruk, my opponent goes wolf, wolf, block, kill my elephants, elephant, block on solemn, wolf. Yeah, okay, so this is not worth it for me to attack. This Ganti will probably be very good, though. Oh, jeez. Hmm. Hmm. I think I'm done. So I can get Noxious Gear Hulk from my deck and put Dragon Lord Atarka into play next turn. Maybe I'm not dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, I need 2 more mana in order to do this. So I am probably dead. Alright, my opponent has Shardless Agent. I'm gonna throw that at Garruk. If I draw a land this turn and a land next turn, I can still Tooth and Nail and maybe do something. No. Alright, now I feel dead. Just putting in Dragon Lord Atarka is not going to be enough on this board because my opponent is going so wide. All right, what has my opponent revealed? God, I'm going to have to play around Time Warp in this deck. Rough. What else could there be to ruin me? So this is super cute. The Sakura Tribe Elder is just landfall for all those plants. So my opponent is essentially the better ramp deck than I am, so I probably need to disrupt them. So I should probably bring in this ultimate price to kill their stuff, this Braska's to kill their Garruk. That's probably it. Since so many of my opponent's great cards are creatures, I probably don't want a Kite Sail Freebooter. Ganti's probably going to be an all-star here. And maybe this isn't a gifted Etherborn matchup because I want my removal to be able to be pointed at the mana creatures that aren't attacking. This seems pretty good. I will consider Animate Dead, though. Like, if my opponent has these big fatties, too, and they answer one, and I get to take theirs, that's good value. But this is just, like, one more super late-game card that I'm not necessarily sure that I need. So I'm going to pass on it. Alright, so I get a turn 3 Garruk. Totally acceptable. This feels pretty okay. My opponent, like, still has ramped out one land, but so have I, so we're sort of, like, at parity right now, but I have a Planeswalker on board. Plus, like, the wolf tokens that I'm going to make are going to be very good with Recurring Nightmare, assuming that I can get some other creature into my graveyard. My current plan for next turn is to probably just Coalition Relic, and then on the following turn, Acidic Slime, blow up one of my opponent's lands, and then continue the mana denial plan with Recurring Nightmare. If I just naturally draw the Acidic Slime, I go land, cast it, Garruk minus, sacrifice it, go get some other big annoying creature, or just a reasonable ETB creature, and like Recurring Nightmare loop that creature and Acidic Slime. Acidic Slime will be particularly potent because right now, hitting the Breeding Pool or the Savannah takes my opponent off of a color. That's an insane draw. Never mind what I said about the Coalition Relic. Let's just snug that. Alright, so my opponent says, be right back, sorry for the delay. I don't know if there's days in this format, but just in case. So chat, my opponent's going to be gone for a minute, so do you have any questions? Either about like cube or card evaluation or about legacy more generally? Oh, that was a quick be right back from my opponent. Oh, Whisperwood Elemental. That card's sick. Alright, so beginning of the end set manifest, you can sacrifice it to make everything else manifest. Sure. What am I doing on my turn? I really want to tutor with this. If I tutor with this, I can get an ETB kill creature and then use that to get rid of the Whisperwood Elemental. But this will cost me my Garruk if I do so. But this card gets out of control very quickly. So I should probably just let this go and use like Recurring Nightmare as my value engine. Karn. That's sweet. Not going to try to push the 1 free point of damage here. So I guess I can get the Chupacabra here. Use that, blow up Whisperwood. It doesn't have Echo, so it's probably preferable. If I hit my land drop, I would have just gotten the Noxious Gear Hulk. And we're waiting. And we're still waiting. I guess I can look at my pretty deck and see if I have any other options. Yeah, that's true. If I get Shriekmaw, I can go 3 mana, cast Coalition Relic, 2 mana, evoke this, charge this, then on my next turn I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then if I draw a land, I can green sun for X equals 7 and get my Atarka. Excuse me. The only thing I don't like about this line is that it doesn't actually leave me with a creature in play for Recurring Nightmare, but I can use my Green Sun Zenith for that purpose if I absolutely have to. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. It also lets me Karn. What does this do? Oh, it's a card draw engine that also scries. Well, if you can cast Karn, don't you just do it? And now I can, like, use my Gearhulk, Recurring Nightmare, Shriek Maw package to whittle away at my opponent's creatures while Karn keeps their hands and other permanents in check. This card's a little annoying, and I might like Karn Minus to take care of it once I have the board stabilized. But Karn just goes back to his starting total now, which is sweet. So I could also Green Sun for 5 and just take care of this now. I don't think there's much of a need. And my opponent's done. So I have no plays unless I rip 2 lands. This one has to be a mulligan, unfortunately. This hand's acceptable. I wish I had early interactions, but hopefully we'll get some of that off the top. This is a late game card. That can go to the bottom. Alright, so they've got a 2/2 that ramped them. So next turn I'm going to have 6 mana, so I can go like Wood Elves into Jadelight Ranger. That's pretty good against Karn. But I might just Vraska's Contempt this. Alright, so does this put it... It just puts it onto the battlefield. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So I play Wood Elves, put another land onto the battlefield, get rid of this Whisperwood Elemental. So now I have 4, 5, 6, 7. I can just Karn on my turn, which seems pretty great. So I got a Karn -4 on my turn. That would leave Karn at 2, and it would die to this token. Is that fine? I can just Karn plus. Which is also probably fine. Or I can clog up the board this turn. And play both Jade Light Ranger and Obstinate Baloth. Then play Karn. But I think I like Karn Plus this turn. Whatever cards are left in my opponent's hand are probably pretty good. So since my opponent played Obstinate Baloth, that's a 4-drop. So if I wanted to like Karn get rid of everything, it'd have to be -4. That'd leave it at 2 loyalty, and it only gets rid of the colored things, so it doesn't get rid of this manifest thing. Oh, right, Karn isn't Ugin. Oh, wow, I totally just mixed up those cards. My bad. So do I still just want to keep plussing Karn? I think I want a Jade Light Ranger and see what happens with it first. Okay, so I just get both of these lands. I think I'm going to go ahead and exile their Baloth. Then my own Baloth, plus this Jade Light Ranger, should be holding down the 4. Well, what just happened? Fact or fiction? So my Planeswalker is going to die. To the Nimble Obstructionist. This Garrick is very good. It's the most powerful card here. So the issue is that I can't leave them with like Terraston and all of this stuff, or they'll just take this pile. So they have 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. This would be 7 mana. This would be the 8th mana. So I probably need to do a split like this. So let my opponent cast an Elder this turn, a Garruk next turn. Or alternatively, take the Terraston and this, neither of which do anything immediately. which is good. We'll see how this goes. I think they just like take the Garrick pile so that they can tutor repeatedly. Yep. So I can turn this Lava Claw Reaches into a man, but that's not going to go well for me. Alright, really need something like Dragon Lord Atarka here. The green sun is at the bottom of my deck, so I can't draw that. Okay, I guess I did shuffle. Alright, so I can get Dragon Lord Atarka next turn. And I have to save this for that. I could have used the red from this to activate this and swing in and have 100% guaranteed killed that. Shit, now my opponent gets that Avenger. Please don't have land as your last card. Crap. Alright, I think I punted this one away. Yeah, I punted this one away. So my opponent would have had land left. I would have killed Garrick. I would have gotten Dragon Lord Atarka, wiped their board. Yep, that's on me. And now my opponent just attacks all out, and I die. Oh, that loss is on me. I realized just, like, a little bit too late that I could have done the Lava Claw Reaches thing. Dang it. That's no good. I will take lands here. So I get turn 1 search, turn 2 tap this, turn 3 play search, Wood Elves. Alright, opponent's mana base is ambitious, it looks like. Mm-hmm. Oh, they vindicated their own guy. So now they're going to get something terrible for me. Ugin. That is not good. Taking them off of blue. Ugin will just, like, bolt my guy down again. Then I can play Jade Light Ranger, explore, Recurring Nightmare, kill Jade Light Ranger, get back Acidic Slime, blow up another land. Hopefully get somewhere with that. Freebooter. I can go into my graveyard. Land. My opponent just gets to, like, ultimate Ugin this turn, and I don't think I can possibly beat that, so I'm... Maybe I just concede here and don't let my opponent know that I have Recurring Nightmare. Now, there's some world where I win. Plus, like, gaining information about, like, a ton of my opponent's cards in deck is pretty good. Oh, that's a lot of planeswalkers. What does this one even do? Alright. My opponent is the Planeswalker ramp deck. That's very clear. So I definitely want this Vraska's Contempt. I might want just Thrun as something that can't be mucked with by opposing Planeswalkers. And some of my, like, Bone Shredder Shriekmaw stuff might not be all that good. So I should probably trim on some of that. So let's go Bone Shredder out. Shriekmaw out. Is this one a May? Or it's an opponent control, so that's good. I don't think I can make too many more changes unless I just, like, sideboard into a different color. And I don't think any of those cards are good enough for me to want to do that. Alright, let's see if we can outvalue all of those Planeswalkers. Well, hopefully Jadelight Ranger gets real big, and I can get aggressive with it. Alright, if I play Wood Elves this turn, I can guaranteed cast Garruk next turn, and if I draw a land, I can Acidic Slime one of their lands, which will be very good. Alright. Got my Elder there. It's still probably correct to just muck with my opponent's lands. Or maybe not now that they have this, like, Yavimaya Elder. Man, that is annoying. I could just, like, double creature this turn and go Jadelight Ranger into Gifted Aetherborn. This was a good hit. card's so good when it just doesn't get pyroblasted for 1 red mana. Alright, so regardless, this happens. This gives me no possibility of killing the Ashiok in the next turn, unfortunately. But if my opponent just, like, minuses Ashiok, there goes my Karn. Alright, opponent definitely good in the mana department, apparently. Let's try to hit some lands. There's a land. Oh man, did I not use this? Playing loose. Well... what's the other... Oh, Noxious Gear Hulk is the other thing under here. That's obnoxious. I think I want to guarantee that I can cast Dragon Lord and Tarka next turn. Alright, so that's wipe the board, and they draw a card. Mimic Bat and Recurring Nightmare are both gone now. So now my opponent can't make a Noxious Gear Hulk with it, which is great. But it's very possible that I'm just going to get milled out just naturally after how much damage that Ashiok has done to me. Oh, great. So that Ajani is just going to, like, minus and kill my Dragon Lord. Never mind. There's a Maelstrom Pulse, too. Well, we can call it there. I think I'm dead. Alright, so while I liked the value-oriented aspects of this deck, I needed more 1 and 2 mana cards, especially because it would have turned my Green Sun Zenith into an early ramp spell, and that was something that I was sorely missing. The games where, like, I got going and I got to the mid to late game were pretty good, but I had so little interaction here because someone else was drafting green at the table that I couldn't really do a ton in some games, and my opponents just got out ahead of me, especially in those, like, ramp mirrors or pseudo mirrors. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get some lunch. I hope you enjoyed this this draft, or 2 drafts, I guess. It was kind of a departure from my norm here on this channel. But if you enjoyed this and you want to see more of this from time to time, or especially some great legacy content, consider following. I'll see you all around, and take care.